If you were ever trying to make a really good batch of cookies, you could probably hire Drill Sergeant and he'll give it a spin better than any mixer. Get it? You get it? Okay. Well, what's going on, everybody? My name is Blitzwarrior, and today we're going to be taking a look at another Skylanders Giant Skylander review. And today's subject of review, I should say, probably, is the one and only Drill Sergeant, who looks very cool. A very, very neat design indeed. Definitely stands out on his own, not similar to anyone else in my personal opinion. Not in the tech element, nor in any other element. He definitely stands out on his own very, very much. I don't know why he reminds me of a really pissed off grandpa. Like, if you look at his eyes, he kind of looks, I don't know, just the head looks kind of like a grandpa, like this would be a beard or something like that, and just, so like wearing maybe some broken glasses or something, I don't know. That's the way I always looked at him, like he kind of is the oldest of all, and he's just kind of like rolling around. He's like, "Ah, damn it, you stupid young Skylanders. You're so annoying, get off my lawn," or something like that. But, of course, guys, if you don't know how this review works, basically what we do is we take a look at the toy aspect first, then we cut to some gameplay, stats, and upgrades, where we then evaluate the Skylander out of 10, basically giving him a rating of really bad for 1 and really good for 10. So, of course, participate in this process. Watch the video if you own him, if you own the figure itself. Of course, let your voice be heard in the comment section below. Let me know what you guys would rate him as well. But now let's take a look at the toy. Of course, as I mentioned, he's got a very cool design, primarily kind of like deep red colors and golds. A very, very bright figure. Has got a lot of attention to detail, which is really cool. A very, very neat figure as well. I wish that, just like in the game, how this thing kind of turns bigger, I wish you could have maybe like kind of slid this part a little bit. That would have been really neat. Of course, this is a cannon that he uses, which you'll see in just a moment. We're not going to talk about that bit, because you could make a lot of bad jokes about that. But he's got some cool drill arms, and he likes to roll. So he goes around, he's like, "You see me rolling." Well, actually, he's like a ground. "You see me rolling, patrolling. Now that I have embarrassed myself, let's place him on the portal of power. And then let's take a look at him, what he looks like on the portal of power." Now, of course, he's got the base for the tech element, which are a bunch of gears, basically a giant pile of gears, which is pretty cool. But at the same time, it probably feels awkward for him, considering that he's made up of many gears. So he's probably like, "What the hell? Who did they kill to get all these gears?" And not Richard Gere. That was a horrible joke. This bit right here, of course, lights up, and other than that, no other element, no other part on him lights up, because of course he's just a basic figure, not a light core nor a giant. But now that I made a fool of myself, now that we took a look at the one and only Grandpa Sergeant, or Grandpa Drill Sergeant, let's go ahead and cut to some gameplay, upgrades, and stats on the one and only Drill Sergeant. And after that, of course, we'll provide you the rating out of 10. Alrighty, guys.
Alright guys, so now let's take a look at stats, upgrades, and most importantly, some gameplay for Drill Sergeant. So look at him. First of all, he looks freaking awesome. But let's get into the stats. So of course, obviously, he has a high specialty in armor. He's actually pretty fast Skylander as well, but armor is really kind of his go-to thing, so to speak. He's got a good amount of armor, of course, made out of metal, makes perfect sense. Plus, his final upgrade actually, well, second to final upgrade, is actually also an armor upgrade, so makes perfect sense that he would specialize in that particular category. So he's just basically a battering ramp with rockets attached all over his body. But we'll see that in just a moment. Let's take a look at his upgrades first. So first off, we've got Drill Rocket, which allows him to launch basically his hands, which are giant drills, and rockets, and they get launched and they do a ton of harm, trust me. So it's very, very useful. After that, we've got his Bulldoze Charge ability, which allows him to basically dash forward and run over all his enemies. We've got a Speedy Recovery, which allows his rockets to reload quicker and do increased damage. Now, this is a big issue with him, is that he's one of those characters, just like Stump Smash. When you just start playing him and you don't have any upgrades or any cash for upgrades, he's going to seem like a horrifically bad character. He's just going to seem really, really bad, not fun, really sluggish. His rockets run out very quickly, and that's a problem indeed. So that's why I would say this is probably the first upgrade you should get, is the Speedy Recovery upgrade. It really does help out to start making him more of a usable character. So definitely go for this upgrade first. After that, we got Dozer Endurance, allowing you to bulldoze charge for much longer, again making this attack actually useful. After that, we got Power Charge, allowing you to not only now last longer in the bulldoze charge mode, but now you actually do increased damage, which is again very, very handy. After that, you've got your third attack, which is the Auto Blaster. Auto Blaster. That sounds like something Iron Man would say, wouldn't he? Press B actually to activate your Auto Blaster, which is that tiny little cannon on top of your head. So pretty cool. And now this is where the path split up happens. And I would say, guys, go with the top path. The top path I would recommend more than the bottom path. I went with the bottom path because this looked really cool. I thought basically what it would be, Mega Dozer, is that he would turn giant and just kind of bulldoze all over his enemies, because that's kind of what the image made me think. But I was fooled, basically. And I can't go back because it would take way too long to level up all the way again to level 10, especially when I have other Skylanders to play with. So, that's primarily why I would say the top path is better. Top path features a view to a drill, which allows your rockets to do even more increased damage. Now, these two attacks are where it becomes super duper useful, and I'll tell you that in just a moment why. We've got DX3000 Drill Detonator, which is quite a mouthful. Try saying that one 5 times quickly. Drill rockets now are able to explode, and the explosion is much bigger than before with this particular attack. And they can actually do now damage to multiple enemies instead of just one. So that's definitely handy. And finally, MIRV drill rockets allows your drill rockets to burst into smaller rockets, which means that you're going to be hitting multiple enemies, causing much more of a ruckus within the enemies. Now, the bottom path focuses on the bulldozer or dozer ability, basically allowing you to have a speed boost to that ability, so that definitely is useful for mobility and being able to dodge some attacks. But considering that he has a high armor, he doesn't necessarily need to dodge a lot of attacks. We've got Hailstorm, which allows your Auto Blaster to fire much faster and never run out of power, which is very handy. This is definitely the one attack from the bottom path that is super duper awesome. And Mega Dozer, which is a little disappointing in my opinion, just because I had high expectations for it, which basically allows your bulldoze charge to now do extra damage, and you can actually charge through some attacks, such as the pellets from the troll blasters, or the tomahawks from God, what's their names? I forget those enemies. The little, not Cyclops. I forget their names. I forget. My bad. Never mind. Forget it. But it basically dodges attacks. That's the main thing you gotta know. Archean armor is what I was talking about, allowing your armor to now even be harder to hit, so definitely useful indeed. And finally, we've got Wow Pow Future Cannon. Hold B to fire energy pulses that haven't even been invented yet. So I don't know how he's using them if they haven't even been invented yet. Maybe he invented them. Who knows? And you need the actually Auto Blaster upgrade in order to get that upgrade, which I believe is right here. There we go. So you need to unlock this before you can get that. So just so you know. Alrighty. So now that we took a look at all that boring stuff, let's go to some gameplay. So as you can see, for me, he moves much faster with that speed boost, which definitely is handy. But again, I think I would have preferred the rockets. I think that would be, as far as a competitive play, you know what I mean? Like in the game, I think he's very useful because he's so fast and everything. But if you were to play him against your friends and such, I think it would be more handy to have the different types of rockets. That being said, if you have the rocket path, let me know in the comment section below how do you enjoy that form of Drill Sergeant. So let's start with the rockets. Speaking of rockets, as you can see, basically you launch the rockets. It takes a little bit of time to reset, but at first it takes a ridiculous amount of time, which makes these attacks very, very limited, of course, because you can basically only target 2 enemies at a time, unless if, of course, you got that upgrade, the top path upgrade, which has all the different variations on the rockets, such as attacking multiple enemies with the explosion, doing increased damage, and on top of that, all that, split up into tiny little rockets as well. Alrighty, so then we've got the Auto Blaster, which is definitely cool. Like, for me, as you can see, I could literally just hold down the button and it will just auto-fire, which is awesome. And the thing that I do like about the bottom path is that you can do this. For example, you can chain. I wish you could do this with the other rockets. Basically, like, I wish you could take the upgrade for a bunch of tiny rockets and the Auto Blaster together from the bottom path, because then you could basically, like, what you can do is you can do damage with both. So you can be attacking with both attacks. So I'm attacking with the Auto Blaster and with the rockets together, which really then makes him a much more menacing character to deal with. So that definitely is a great combo. You could, if you're fighting a tough enemy, literally charge at him with your Auto Blaster and your rockets together, and that does a ton of harm. Now, as far as the bulldoze ability, basically, as you can see, literally just bulldoze over your enemies. Now, as you can see, for me, a tiny little, almost like his chin grows and gets bigger. Just a sec, you'll see it in the parallel. Oh God, perspective view here. Here, you can see that. You see that? There's like an extending bit that appears when you're charging, which is pretty gosh darn cool. And I definitely, indeed, do like that. That's pretty awesome, and it's definitely handy. So as you can see, the big problem with him though is that none of his attacks, like, I mean, yes, he's not maxed out, he's only level 10, I know, but still, as you can see, I mean, like, none of his attacks are super duper harming. Like, he doesn't have that one attack that you could just be like, okay, like, this is what makes him worth it, you know what I mean? The Auto Blaster is handy, but the problem with the Auto Blaster is that it does such a tiny amount of damage that it really, at times, becomes frustrating too. So, like, I mean, look at it. Look how long it takes to kill, just a sec, once it kills all these little chompies. Come on. Like, you see, it takes quite a while to kill one of those guys, and Drow Archers. And usually it's so simple to kill a Drow Archer with most other characters that it's just a little frustrating to think that none of his attacks are necessarily like, oh my god, that is super duper handy. But, of course, his big appeal really is, in my opinion, the fact that he can take an incredible amount of damage from enemies, because he's got a really strong ranking in armor and a strong rating in armor. So for that, he's definitely handy as basically much more of a defensive tool. So if you have a lot of enemies that you're dealing with and you're like, oh god, I think one of my Skylanders is gonna die, switch to Drill Sergeant and just clear out at least a good handful of them. You know what I mean? Just combining. Basically, my biggest tip with him is to use the Auto Blaster and the rockets together to deliver maximum amount of punishment. I think that combines together to a really effective combination, and allows you to really play him effectively, especially in competitive play, which is what I often do, is I use the characters in competitive play against other people and such. So I definitely would recommend that. But overall, I'd give Drill Sergeant a solid 8 out of 10. There are definitely some issues with him that I would like to, well, not that I would like to voice. I have already voiced those. Gosh darn it. What is going on with me? That's what happens when you don't make a Skylanders video in a long while. It's like, you're just like, you forget all the names, you forget everything when you're playing other games. I apologize for that in advance, guys. But there you go. That concludes the review for Drill Sergeant. So if you could please leave your opinion of how you would rate Drill Sergeant in the comment section below. What would you give Drill Sergeant on a scale of 1 to 10 in the comment section below? Of course, let your voice be heard. On top of that, let me know about the top path of Drill Sergeant. What do you think about it? Is it a better one? Is it a worse one? Let your voice be heard on that as well. And finally, guys, if you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button, subscribe, share the videos with your family and friends, and of course, favorite the video. On top of that, make sure to check out the unboxing. The annotation for the unboxing should be in the top left corner. And of course, also make sure to check out the heroic challenge for Drill Sergeant, which there should be an annotation for that in the top right corner. Alrighty, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Whoa, what was that? Sorry, guys, that's what happens when you do videos sick. And yay. Alright, guys, I'll catch you guys next time. That was embarrassing. Peace out and see you later.